Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, I have 5 things that I absolutely hate about my car. This is a 2016 Scion FRS, and the first thing that I hate is it's so dirty, man. I'm such a bad owner of this car. I need to clean it. That's actually not a thing I hate about this car, but it is something that I very much dislike because I do need to clean it. The interior is horrible. I'm sorry, guys. I need to clean my car. Don't judge me on that, but we're opening the garage door. I'm going to give you guys a little cold start, and we're going to head to a spot, and I'm going to go over the 5 things that I hate about this car and owning this car. And for someone in the market for one of these FRSs, GT86s, BRZs, you get the point. This is the video for you. A lot of these things are stock problems. Clearly, I'm modified. Look at that wheel gap, son. Most of the things that I do hate about this car are from when it was stock. So let's go ahead and get into it. Again, don't judge me of the cleanliness of my car. Sorry for the late upload. I'm filming this the day of, so as soon as you're watching this is the day I filmed it. Also, I know that I said last week that it was going to be a special kind of video and possibly a new machine coming. Long story short, that video is going to be uploaded next week, so stay tuned on that. I'm going to spend a ton of time and effort into that video. But for today's video, we're going to go into the 5 things that I absolutely hate about this car, and one of them makes me honestly want to sell the car. Cool startup video, .mp4. With my tune that I'm running right now, I really don't get a loud cold start, so that's all you guys get. But in 3, 2, 1, whoa, check that out, guys. We are here at the parking lot. We're gonna go over the 5 things that I hate about this car, and we're gonna start off with the little things and then kind of move into the bigger things. And the last one's a big one, okay? And we'll go over that later, but we're gonna start with number 1. Can you guys see me? Stop yelling at me, bro. God. All right, guys, the first and number 1 thing that I hate about this car is the headspace. Okay, I'm a big guy. Okay, I know that. If you are 6 foot and over, I'm about 6'1" ish, but if you're 6 foot or more, it's kind of a struggle. Okay, I mean, look, I'm just sitting in my normal seating position. I'm touching the ceiling, and when I go to track days and I do autocross and I have to wear a helmet, it's a struggle because I end up having to lean this seat back, and then I can't end up reaching the steering wheel. That is something that is a big deal to me because when I wear helmets and stuff, it's just hard to do. And when I sit in here with my big fluffy fro, it gives me Gumby hair. Okay, now to fix that, I'm gonna have to obviously lower the seat because it is as far down as it can go. So I'm gonna have to get an aftermarket seat and then, you know, a harness possibly with that, and find a seat big enough to fit my big ass, you know. That's just one of my main problems with the car stock, is that my head hits the top of the roof. All right, guys, on to number 2, which is going to be way back here. Got to move the seat. That little doodad right there, I'll zoom in on it. That is the 3rd brake light of this car, and it's hard to see my tint, but it's somewhere around right in here-ish. Here's the problem I have with this, and you're kind of like, what do you hate about a 3rd brake light? Well, I got a sub in the back. That sub rattles this car. And this car is not necessarily put together amazingly. It's a cheap JDM sports car. That little doodad right there rattles like it's a damn snare drum. All right, hopefully I don't get demonetized for this, but here it is. You hear the rattle? I've learned what songs that it's gonna rattle on. That's how much it does it, and that's how annoying it is. It's a small problem, but it's a really annoying problem. And you know, a simple fix would be just to take that 3rd brake light out, and they actually make 3rd brake lights for your reverse light as well. I'm gonna upgrade to that in the future and take this thing out because I don't want it. It gets on my nerves, it's annoying, and there's really no purpose for it. Even though they're tinted, these taillights are bright enough. On to number 4 is honestly not something that I can show you. It's just something you're gonna have to trust me on. It's really just a pet peeve thing for me, just for longevity and reliability of the car. But when I take this car on road trips, I go, you know, on the interstate, I'm cruising 70 to 80 miles an hour, right? Like a normal person does. This car is not that fast, so it's not like I can go speed racer anyways. When I'm highway speed cruising in 6th gear, this car cruises at 3,500 RPM. Miller's Porsche in 5th gear, I have an extra 6th gear, cruises at around 3,000 at highway speeds. I'm all the way at 3,500 in 6th gear. That's a little ridiculous, especially if I ever want to turbo the car. You build boost at around 35 to 4,000 RPM. So it gets a little dangerous when you're just constantly sitting there building boost. When you're just trying to cruise on the highway, you don't need power. So that's a little annoying. Obviously, it's gonna be back there in the transmission, gearing, and final drive. I can't really show you, but you're just gonna have to trust me that when you're cruising on the interstate, you're kind of gonna be screaming in 6th gear. You're not gonna be cruising at 1 to 2,000 RPM like literally every single other car on the road. On to number 4, we're actually gonna have to get inside of the car for me to show you guys this, and oh, nice shot, Brian. And I'm actually gonna have to crank the car to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. When you go to the track or you're driving spiritedly, what is your number 1 concern? Temperatures. You wanna know if your car is hot. You wanna know if it's overheating. You wanna know if there's a problem. Well, with the FRS, all they give you is a coolant temperature. That's it. no oil temp, no oil pressure, no gauges for anything, and I'll show you guys right now. The display button over here is how you scroll through everything on the gauges here. You got outside temperature, miles per gallon, average miles per gallon, rev, and that's it. That's all you get. I know it was kind of blurry there, but they don't give you anything to know if your car is gonna explode. This is a 2016. Can they not put an oil temp gauge? It's a very important stat to know. And when you go to the track or do autocross or rip the dragon like I do, and you're just revving the absolute crap out of this car, you're gonna wanna know when it's getting hot. Y'all like my bug collection on the front? Yeah. Real nice. Before we get to the fifth and final thing, guys, I want to go over one side note, and it's a pretty important thing to me, but it's not necessarily make or break. And it's simply how bland the interior of this car is. You know, steering wheel's bland. The pedals look kind of cool, I guess. I put Apple CarPlay in it, so that makes it better. But the interior is just kind of bland, and after a while, you get bored of it. It's not like there's anything digital at all in this car. But you know, I didn't buy it for the interior. I bought it for, I think it looks great and it handles amazing. So that's why I bought the car. But on to the fifth and final thing. You guys probably could have guessed it by now by process of elimination. It's a huge problem with these cars. Let me just pop the hood. It's this piece of crap. The FA20. Not much I can say, it's garbage. It's slow, not really that good for boost. It's really not good when you turbo them. The rod bearings and also connecting rods are very weak on this car. So when you turbo them, they most likely will blow up. And it's kind of important to turbo these cars because they're so slow from factory, dude. I'm probably pushing around 200 horsepower to the wheel. And after 4 years of driving this car, I'm just bored of it. Obviously, there's not much better you can do for a $20-ish thousand car in terms of corners and handling. But this is just a joke. Normal everyday driving, when you're just driving to the store or driving on the highway, this car just can't keep up. I could race a Corolla and probably still lose. Driving and riding in Camaros and Mustangs and all these other fast cars, there's always that question in your mind of, do I kind of want one? This engine is a fatal flaw in this car because of its horsepower, its weak internals, if you ever wanted to boost, and thirdly, for me at least, the sound. The sound's all right that it makes. There's times where I love it. There's also times where I hate it. It's a little raspy. It's not like anything else on the road. You know, you hear an EJ and you're like, oh, that's a WRX. You hear a raspy V8, you know it's a Mustang. This is a very different tone than anything else on the road, and that's a good and a bad thing. But overall, I'd say that I'd rather have an EJ or a V8 than the sound of this motor. Loud if you couldn't tell. So I know what you're probably asking.
Do you want to sell your car? Do you want to get rid of it and get something different? Because what you have just been telling us are really bad things, and it sounds like you don't like your car.
No, I'm never selling this thing. A Corvette C6 is one of my dream cars. I definitely want to get that in the next couple years, but I don't plan on ever selling this car. It was my first car. I love it. It's so good on the Dragon. So good for autocross on the Dragon, and it's so much fun to drive. So with that being said, just know that I love this car, and there are things that I hate about it as well. Nothing can be perfect, right guys? In the future, I'm gonna make a 5 things that I love about this car to show you guys that the good outweighs the bad. But if you're looking for an 86 BRZ FRS, even the new GR86s, it's overall a great beginner car, and I'm so thankful for the experiences, friendships, and opportunities that this car has brought me. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Trying to build the channel. I'm posting videos every Tuesday, so stay tuned. This one might be a little late like I was saying, but it's just because I got really busy and I'm filming the video on a Tuesday. But I got to get back and edit this video right now so I can post it for you guys. So like, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.